Good evening, friends. Meeting again with the aphorisms from the 6th edition of Organon of Medicine, and we have learned few aspects of the first aphorism in last lecture. But today I will going to highlight again that so that we can learn it in a better aspect with a better way. So yesterday we have started with the first aphorism. The physician's high and only mission is to restore the sick to health, to cure, as it is termed. Words are very simple. It looks a single simple sentence, but it has a lot of meaning. It has a depth of understanding. And then we have discussed the few words out of that aphorism, why he explains the word physician. The physician is the person who have a thorough knowledge regarding the whole aspect of the human life, the physical aspect as well as the mental aspect, the dynamic aspect, the spiritual aspect, and that holistic concept is there in the physician's mind. Doctor, if you use the word doctor, doctorate is given to a person who used to work on a particular part, particular work. Even PhD holders are there and they are labeled themselves as a doctor. So there is a difference between it, doctor and physician, and Hahnemann purposefully added this specific word, the physician. And he expects that a physician is the person who is going to take into consideration both the aspects of the human life, the material as well as dynamic aspect. Then in last lecture, we have learned another thing. The physician's high and only mission, we have learned the word mission. Mission is nothing but the person who used to work with a devotion. It should be a devotion and it should be a single. Their mission is always single. Your concentration should be there with that and that specific ambition, which is with the help of devotion. He has purposefully used the word mission because missionary people works for their religion with the devotion. They forget their own life. They devote their life for their religion. In the similar manner, the homeopathic physician's life should be devoted to the homeopathy. That should be his mission. And that's why he specifically utilizes the word mission. The high and only, because it should be one and only one. It should not be changed. It should not be different. There should not be 10 thoughts in the physician's mind. Otherwise, he cannot concentrate. He cannot understand the next suffering human person. And for that purpose, he says the physician's high and only mission is to restore the sick to health. And we have termed the definition of health in yesterday's lecture. Health is nothing but the condition where the mind, body, and soul runs in a perfect harmony with the help of a vital force, which we term as a labor, which we term as a healthy person. And this harmony is nothing but where we are at freedom. We can do whatever we feel. We can learn anything. We can do anything. Whatever the thoughts are there, it works beautifully in such a way. And that the way we think accordingly, our body works with self, and this happens only when the soul is present, the vital principle is present. If it is present, then and then a mind is having significance, the body is having significance, and there is a correlation between both of them. And this is what he wants to explain over there, that this correlation, this harmony should be maintained so that a person can do any type of thing which he desires to do. And that is the state of health. What he says, the physician's high and only mission is to restore the sick to health, to cure, as it is termed. We have first understand what is the terminology mean by health, and then we have to turn towards the what is disease. Disease is nothing but when this trinity of life, mind, body, and soul disturbs because of disturbance of vital force. Then we term that person as a disease. But why that vital force gets disturbed? That also we have discussed in yesterday's lecture. That there are many inimical things which happens around us. Our mind has many things in it. It has a will, it has emotions, it has an intellect, it has an understanding, it has a memory, it has a logic, which is gifted to him. and because of which an ego develops. When this ego gets disturbed, when the will is not fulfilled, the things all remains to be an inimical. All things are inimical. So anything happens which is against your will is inimical. And that's why he says over there, this dynamic energy, this dynamic entity, the vital force, gets disturbed whenever something inimical happens in front of you. And when you are in a disturbed state, then and then only your susceptibility gets altered. And once your susceptibility is altered, at that time there is a chance of the any organism to trouble you. Otherwise, they never troubles you. So acute diseases which are caused because of such called as acute miasms, they never do anything unless and until the secondary causes are poor for it. So if a miasm is poor, if the constitution is poor, if susceptibility is high or altered, then and then they can do or produce a disease inside the human being. And that is what is the sickness. So sickness is something like that, which happens in this plane at the conceptual level, at the level of a mind, and which disturbs your vital force, which disturbs your motive. And once your motive is disturbed, you express it in the form of signs and symptoms, to which we labeled by the name of disease. And this is what is the person who is diseased, the person who is sick, the sick. So sickness is not that in the form of a fibroid. It is the result of the sickness. Fibroid is the result of sickness. If the tonsils are hypertrophic, that is the result of the disease. The sickness lies inside. Sickness is over there. If there is an appendicitis, that appendicitis is the result of his sickness. Appendix gets enlarged, is the result of the sickness. It is not the disease itself. Disease lies behind that. And unless and until you understand that human who is diseased, you cannot treat him. Your aim should not be just to treat or just to give a medicine to the diseased part, not at all. You should not give any specific medicine to pathology only. Pathology is the end result, that is not your aim. You have to treat the inner sickness, which has happened at the level of dynamics, at the level of a mind. And if you want to treat that, there is a need to find it out a remedy on the basis of expression of that disease in the form of totality of the symptom. So the sick is the terminology which he has clarified very clearly by the Kent in his first chapter. He says that if a child, there he has given very good example over there. He explained over there that a child who got who develops and at the age of young stage, she all of a sudden starts getting some problem and the skin. He goes to the skin specialist. The skin specialist tells him that there is some problem, eczema or whatever name of the disease. He gives some local application. He applies to that. He feels better for a few days. Then after span of 2-3 months, he again develops, starts getting the acid peptic trouble. Then he goes to a physician who examines, he says that you have an acidity. He again treats, he again gets the treatment for that. He feels better. After some time, after span of 2-3 months, he again goes to the physician that he is having very severe cough over there. Physician examines and asks him that to go for investigations, and he explains that now you have a tuberculosis. Then he was treated for tuberculosis again, and after some time, after 6 months period, he goes into a mania. All of a sudden, there is epileptic attack, convulsions, and etc. And he says over there, now your disease has gone into the brain. Disease was one and same, starting with the first skin, then it entered into the stomach, then it entered the lungs, then it entered the brain, and ultimately leading toward the higher and higher involvement of the important organs. The sickness was there earlier, and sickness was not treated by those medicines. It is only the pathology they tried to treat with some local manifestation and treating that only a single symptom over there, and because of which it produced the suppression, leading the disease from less important organ to more to more, and more to more, and ultimately the person died. This example the Kent has given, and this is what is the sickness. Sickness lies inside over there at this level. Unless and until you treat that sickness, it is not possible. And that's why it is necessary to understand where the sickness is. I will tell you one example. Then you will understand where is the sickness. This is the example my students they knows many a times because I have explained it in my class. So one patient, she was nearly about 32 years of age, brought to me for the fibroid uterus. She herself came to me for fibroid uterus, and it is a big fibroid at the age of 32. And I surprised looking towards that, how this much of fibroid is present in that young lady. So I was taking the detailed history, and she said that it is since last 1 year it was diagnosed, and I am having very heavy bleeding, and everyone is asking me to remove the uterus, but how to remove it at this specific age? So what he said, what she said, that I don't want to go for operation. Then I took the history and then I touched her just, is there any problem in your life since last 3-4 years because of which you are disturbed? This question when I put, she started weeping. And she started weeping, and nearly next 1 hour there was a continuous weeping. In between some sentence she used to tell, again she used to weep and weep and weep and weep. And she explained one history. When she was 20, she was in love with one fellow, and the parents of both herself and from himself, they were not ready to get them married. So immediately her parents have decided to marry her with someone, and they have made the marriage. She had now one children and one son and a daughter, both of around 10 and 7 years of age. And she is still in that grief that she was not able to marry with the person with whom she should marry. And that grief was remained over there as it is. She could not able to share it with anyone, not in-laws or not with her parents, and not with anyone. Because if she used to tell it to anyone, everyone will say you are wrong. And she doesn't want to that, doesn't want that sentence. And that's why she avoided to tell it, share it with anyone. And it remained over there. And when I took her case, that grief expressed in the form of weeping. Then she started weeping, and that weeping was continuous, wish and ever. That grief saturated over there for 10 years or 12 years, reflected it in the form of a tumor, in the form of a fibroid over the uterus. So when I explained this case to the student told me that, sir, there is a maintaining cause in this case. Maintaining cause is that she was not able to get married with that person, and that is an obstacle in the case. So how can we treat? Because there's that obstacle, we cannot bring that fellow again in her life. So how can we treat? I told them that you have understood it in a better manner. So I put a question, what is the disease? They said fibroid is the disease. I said, fibroid is not the disease. Fibroid is the result of this disease, which is the grief which is saturated over there. So I have selected a right remedy. Most probably it was way back I treated that patient. Most probably it might be a natramur or natrum carb. I could not recollect now, but it was one of the remedy. I have started. And after starting the medicine, her problem started settling down. After 15 days, when she came for follow, she was right, completely a different personality. In earlier first consultation, she wept and wept and wept. In second consultation, she accepted the thing and she was happy. She told directly, first time I'm feeling happy after my marriage in last 12 years. So what has happened? The disease has cured at the basic level. It has cured where it should cure. What was the disease over there? She was continuously in same grief. That means she was not in reality, she was in delusion. And this is the concept of a delusion. Disease as a delusion explained by Shankaran sir. He explains that disease as a delusion very nicely in his Spirit of Homeopathy book. This concept, disease as a delusion, is this one. And this is the disease. This is happens at the dynamic plane and at the level of concepts, conceptual disease. Because the things were inimical, and which has created, ultimately reflected in the form of a physical tumor. So once you treat the internal disorder, the physicals automatically change. But you have to first understand where the disease is and how it is expressed. Both things are necessary. And that's why Hahnemann says the physician's high and only mission is to restore the sick. So you have to restore that sickness which lies over there. So she came out of that delusion, and thereafter, within span of 1 year, complete dissolution of that tumor happened. So this is what is the sickness is there. Sickness is not that tumor, sickness, that is the result of the sickness. And Hahnemann wants to understand this to the people, that sickness lies over there. You have to treat that inner sickness, which is expressing in the form of signs and symptoms, that you have to take into consideration. And not only that, just you have to treat that. What he says, the physician's high and only mission is to restore the sick. Now he use the word the restoration. Restoration means the patient was in a state of health prior to getting disease. After that, once patient gets the disease, you have to bring back that state of health again. That is more important. You have to bring him again into the state of restoration. Generally, when you treat only the pathology, or generally when you look towards the pathology as a disease, or for example, a patient suffering from typhoid, having 103, 104 temperature, and you have prescribed the medicine for the patient. And if within a day, the temperature disappeared with the help of allopathic medicines, antipyretic, antibiotics. But from next day, patient becomes so weak that he is not able to do any activity. Is it called that restoration? He has not restored. You have just removed symptoms. You have just palliated the symptoms. But I will share one example. I am treating one lady. She had a fever since last 5-6 days. I used to ask the patients of fever daily for follow-up. On day one, I have started with the treatment. She was having very high grade fever, 104. Her husband brought her to me, and I have started her on the Rustox. Then after medicines, next day, she alone came. She was having fever. On day first, it was 104. Then next day, when she returned, it was 102. But she was having it, but she came alone by driving on two-wheeler nearly about 4 kilometers. Then again, I have checked her. I have again asked her to go for, given her doses. Next day, I asked her to come. They were in stress because they want the diagnosis, and that's why, for her sake, the next day, on third day, I have checked her blood. all the investigations were done, and she found to have a enteric fever strongly positive. It was 1:160 positive. So I told her that this enteric fever goes by lysis. So daily it will disappear by 1 degree only. But it doesn't matter even though it goes day by day with a lysis. She, with a right remedy, she maintained her strength throughout. She was coming for daily follow-ups. When she returned today is she never had fever since yesterday's night, and it was 97 degree Fahrenheit. But during the whole process, even though she was suffering from the typhoid, she maintained her strength and she was able to drive daily for 4 kilometers, and she was healthy enough to do all her activities. So she was brought again into the same state of health after right remedy, and this is what is called as a restoration. If she would have been with any modern medicine people, she would have got admitted and she was hospitalized, and her next 8 to 10 days were gone because of the weakness. This never happens. You have to bring back again the state of health, and that's why he says the physician's high and only mission is to restore the sick to health, to cure. Now he terms the cure. This is what is called as a cure. But what is there in his mind regarding the cure? So thought was there in his mission, the word cure, but he defines that cure in the second aphorism. And what if you open your books, 6th edition, what he writes over there regarding the highest ideal of cure, he never says how the cure should be. He starts the word highest ideal of cure should be. The highest ideal of cure is not should be, is rapid, gentle, permanent restoration of the state of health, or removal and annihilation of the disease in the shortest, most reliable, most harmless way, on easily comprehensible principle. That was the thought in his mind. When you prescribe remedy, it should be as fast as possible, but that is highest ideal. Ideal means the cure, one should think of a concept of cure in such a manner. It is not always like that, but thought should be like that. And that's why he says highest ideal should be like that, but it is not always that. So highest ideal of cure is rapid, as early as possible. Rapid means as early as possible. It doesn't mean that it should be immediate. If a patient suffering from the chronic disease since last 10 years, and if he expects the disease should be recovered within a day or two, it never happens. It depends what type of disease he is suffering from. If it is an acute, yes, he will going to get a very rapid cure. But if it is not acute, if it is long-standing, chronic, then it takes quite a good time. But during that time, it should be as rapid as possible. This is what Hahnemann wants. Rapid, gentle. What is gentle? Gentle means without causing any harm to the patient, without causing any trouble. Generally, what happens? A patient who is suffering from rheumatoid arthritis goes to an allopath who treats him with NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug. After giving non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug, patient feels better at the level of symptomatology, but he suffers from the severe gastritis. There is severe burning inside the stomach or epigastrium or retrosternal burning sometimes. There is vomiting. So patient is not getting completely cured over there. He temporarily feels palliated at the cost of development of new symptoms. And this is what he wants to explain over there, that it should be gentle without causing a trouble to the patient. When we treat same patient with the help of a homeopathic remedy, it never causes such types of problems with the patient. So it should be rapid, gentle, permanent. Third word which we used to use is very clear, the permanent. It should not be for time being, for 2 hours, 3 hours. It should be permanent. It should remain forever. So highest ideal of cure is rapid, gentle, permanent restoration of state of health. That is again the same word he used to use. Restoration. What is restoration? Bringing back again to the same state which he desires. So, rapid, gentle, permanent restoration of the health, or removal and annihilation. Annihilation means to remove it permanently from its root. Annihilation. Removal and annihilation of the disease in its whole extent, in the shortest, most reliable. The word most reliable is very important. To whom you can rely. You can rely only on the people who you know properly. Here he uses it for the homeopathic remedy. They are most reliable because they are utilized in the healthy human beings, and everything what it used to cause we know prior to use, and that's why we know exactly how the patient will going to react to that medicine after giving. So they are most reliable. It is not like the animal proving and applying you on the human being and considering human as an animal. It is not like that. So most reliable and most harmless way, so without causing any harm. And then he says, on easily comprehensible principle. It should be according to the comprehensible, which can be understood by any person, comprehensible principles. All the cardinal principles of homeopathy, the 7 cardinal principles of homeopathy. So it should be according to the cardinal principles of homeopathy, right from the law of similars, law of simplex, law of minimum dose, the doctrine of vital force, the doctrine of drug proving, doctrine of drug dynamization, and the doctrine of chronic diseases, along with the Hering's law of direction of cure. These cardinal principles should follow your cure. Then that cure is ideal. And this is what is the concept which he defines in the first aphorism. The physician's high and only mission is to restore the sick to health, to cure. This is what cure he expects. So restore the sick to health, to cure, and then there are 3 words, as it is termed. And these 3 words have a big meaning. As it is termed means according to the 7 cardinal principles of homeopathy and according to the Hering's law of direction of cure. And these 7 cardinal principles and Hering's law of direction of cure is most practical aspect to be learned by every homeopath. If he understands, if his concepts are clear regarding these 7 cardinal principles, then it becomes simple to you do a homeopathic practice. So I think we'll take nearly about 15 days to learn these 3 words, as it is termed, because this is the most practical part of first aphorism, as it is termed. From tomorrow onwards, I will going to highlight each and every cardinal principle along with its practical aspects, sharing the cases and how one should look towards them. If you understand them, then you revolve around the whole homeopathy. Then you understand the homeopathy in a better manner. Then next aphorism becomes simple once you understand the first aphorism by heart. And this is what we have to learn in Organon. See, since 2 days we are discussing first aphorism, only few words we have finished, not yet complete. And I'm quite sure it will not complete nearly about 15 to 20 days also, because we have to learn each and every aspect of as it is termed word. So that's all for today. So many people who have joined today, again ask them that this is how one should learn the homeopathy. This is how one should learn the organon. And once you understand the organon in a proper manner, then it becomes simple to practice. Once your concepts regarding the organon are very clear in your mind, then it becomes very easy to apply it in your practice. It becomes a practical homeopathy at that time. And what I expect from all of you is such type of study when learning the homeopathy. You have to understand sentence by sentence, words by word, the organon written by our great master, Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. So that's all for today. Again, there is a request. Those who have joined our Divine School of Homeopathy, My suggestion is that if you would have not sent the receipt and if you have not filled the Google form, please contact Miss Prerna. She will guide you
वालेकुम
so
उमैर,
that
क्या
she
हाल है?
can enroll you
यार
over
वो
there
मेरी
in the
जूम पे मीटिंग्स वगैरह होती हैं,
group
कुछ
on Telegram.
अपना क्लासेस
Group is
होती हैं,
there on
उनको मैं
Telegram and
रिकॉर्ड करना
should
चाहता
get
हूँ, तो कोई ऐसा
enrolled
कोई
over there
लाइसेंस
unless and
या कोई
until you
प्रॉपर
pay
ऐसा
fee
कोई है
and
जिसमें
share that
ऑडियो
receipt with Prerna.
प्रॉपर
Her
जूम
mobile
की
number
जो भी
is
स्क्रीन, यानी कि स्क्रीन बेसिकली मैं रिकॉर्ड करना चाह रहा हूँ ना लैपटॉप की, तो
7249.
वो काइंडली यार
Just
मुझे
minute,
जरा
I will
बताना,
type
मैं
here so that everyone
देख रहा हूँ
will
मसला,
get.
ताकि वो चीज़ें जो है ना वो बहुत सी ऐसे टाइम पे होती है, मैं होता नहीं, तो मैं चाह रहा हूँ कि ताकि वो क्लास रिकॉर्ड हो जाए।
7249
जज़ाकल्लाह।
042 978. So this is her number. You can contact her and you can, those who have joined, it's okay. Those who have shared the receipt as well as filled the Google form, it's well and good. But those who have not yet filled the Google form, my suggestion is that you must fill the Google form and send it immediately to her. And you should have your Telegram app so that there is a group prepared by the name of Divine School of Homeopathy, where all the members who used to pay and join the Divine School, they are added, and you will get the intimation about all the activities which happens in the Divine School of Homeopathy. Today is the Thursday, and Thursday is decided by our team that it should be for gurus, and that's why all the practitioners who used to do very good practice with different ways, they will invite one of the practitioner on every Thursday, and that will be a most practical part in those sessions. So my suggestion to all of you is that if you are not join the Divine School of Homeopathy. This Sunday I will make a big topic regarding question and answer, a live session with all of you on Google Meet, so that it will be open only for the members who are enrolled over there in the Divine School of Homeopathy, and that will be open forum. You put whatever queries which are there in your mind. If I am able to, I will definitely explain them in at that time. So that will be a feast again on the Sunday for you, for the members of Divine School of Homeopathy. If you would have not filled the Google form, yes, fill that. And because there is one name we couldn't understand. The payment was done, but there was not a screenshot shared with us, not even messaged us, and that's why we are not able to understand who had paid that. So if you would have paid, just send your receipt as well as you directly fill the Google form at that time. So thank you very much being there since last half an hour, and many people who have joined. Ali is there always, the Karuna is there, then the Anuja is there, many. Kumudini, she used to come again, and Dr. Madhu, Chaitrali, Amit is always there, Dr. Uttareshwar Sakre is there, Parsuna is there, Shital is there, Iraqi is there, Rutuja Vaikar, yes, I am happy to see you again. Manisha is there. So many people are there. Thank you very much for attending session. Tomorrow we'll continue with the first aphorism, but next few lectures, don't miss. These three words are very important from practice point of view, because I will going to share each and every aspect regarding it in a practical manner. So don't miss that specifically, because every cardinal principle has its meaning, and how to apply that cardinal principle in day-to-day practice, that is more important. And that I will going to share. And that's why it takes 15 days or 20 days to discuss the three words. So that is what is the organon is. Whatever I am explaining is nothing but the philosophy behind the organon. And that's why the name of the subject is Organon of Medicine and the Homeopathic Philosophy. Philosophy is nothing but the explanation with illustration of the things which are written in a very short manner. The detailed explanation of it is philosophy. So tomorrow we'll meet at the same time. Thank you being there, And thanks a lot. Thanks, Imam.